Hi everyone, good evening. I hope I'm audible to all of you and you can see the screen. So let me introduce myself. I am Vishal Jain from Team Clat Prep and I'll be here to guide you people on various aspects of law entrance exams. And thereafter, we'll be talking about the career opportunities in the field of law. Maybe we'll be talking about why BA LLB can be preferred over any other courses and what is the point of giving Clat ailet as an examination and what kind of life you have when we talk about various national law universities, right? So we have with us some more participants. I guess Shreya is already there, who is All India rank 148 this year in Clat, going to Nalsar, Hyderabad. Then we should have Bhumi with us, who is going to Bhumi Sharma. She is going to Bangalore, and we have Nishant. He is going to NLU Delhi. So basically, we have taken up and invited those top rankers who have made it their way to their dream NLUs, and we are talking about the top three NLUs. So I just want to have some kind of message from Bhumi, Shreya, and Nishant to confirm their presence, please. So we have Bhumi as well with us. She's there on the screen. Hi, Bhumi. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Hello, everyone.
So let me ask Shreya as well. And Nishant may be joining in a few minutes. He told me that he will be late by 10 minutes. So he should join us soon. Hi, Shreya.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Just a minute. I'll just check. Okay. So I guess that we are good to go. We can start with the webinar, everyone. So in case anyone has any questions, they can put up it on the chat box and we'll be happy to, take up your questions and solve your queries. So let's start. If you talk about law as a program, and when we talk about students who have just passed their 12th or are in 11th or 12th and are aspiring to take up law as a career, we talk about various courses, integrated program in law, which is BA LLB or BBA LLB, maybe BCom LLB, or we say BSc LLB. So it is very obvious when we say that it is BA, BBA, BCom, or BSc, this clearly means one thing: irrespective of the stream you have chosen in 11th or 12th, right, you are free to take up these exams like Clat and ailet to get your admission, to get admissions into top national law universities of India, right? Irrespective of the stream, because this is an exam which is purely based on aptitude. And law as a profession can be pursued by anyone, whether the student belongs to the stream of humanities, maybe he or she belongs to science or commerce, right? So BA LLB is basically for those who take up, humanities as their stream, and therefore they can pursue their graduation in BA along with LLB. BCom, those who are interested to take up BCom as their graduation course along with LLB as the professional course, and BSc obviously for science students, right? It is not that if someone has taken up science or commerce in 11th and 12th and then they want to pursue BA LLB, that can be also allowed. Okay? So 5 years integrated program in law, what is the benefit? So it is very obvious when we talk about integrated program, it has to come up with certain benefits. And here it comes in terms of saving of 1 year. When you do your graduation after your 12th, it is of 3 years, whether you go for BA or BBA, BCom or BSc. But then after 3 years, when you pursue law as a career, you will have to go for 3 years of LLB course. Now, a consortium of national law universities, they came up they came up with a concept which is called as Clat exam in the year 2008, wherein they started offering 5 years integrated program for the students who are in 11th and 12th and who can actually take up their dream of pursuing a career in law right after 12th from National Law Universities of India. And that is where they came up with this program. So 5 years program gives you a benefit of 1 year, क्योंकि इन्हीं पूरे 5 सालों के अंदर what you are able to do is that complete your graduation and also take up law as a career, and you take the professional degree of LLB after the end of this 5 years, right? So 3 plus 2, 5 years, you save 1 year here. Now, which are the exams in colleges for 5 years LLB? If I say Clat, of course, is the most sought after exam, through which 25 national law universities and then India International University of Legal Education and Research in Goa also became a part of Clat consortium last year only. So these are the things which are a part of Clat consortium. Apart from that, you have colleges like Faculty of Law in Delhi University, Nirma University, which is in Ahmedabad, BITS Law School, which is in Mumbai, recently opened up 2 years back, UPES, which is in Dehradun, Bennett University in Noida, GT Goenka in Gurugram. These are the places wherein one can pursue their 5 years LLB as a course. Then when we talk about NLU Delhi, it is the exam which is ailet, which intake students for NLU Delhi. ठीक है, so NLU Delhi का एक separate exam है, otherwise all the other 25 NLUs will take up through Clat. IIM Rohtak also started with the 5 years integrated program 2 years back, and it came up with the program which is called as integrated program in law, right? So इनका exam होता है IP MAT Rohtak करके, wherein this is nothing but you can take up the subjects like maths, reasoning and English. Along with that, you need to fight for legal studies as well. Then we have an exam called SLAT, which is for Symbiosis campus. So Symbiosis at present, through its 4 campuses, that is in Pune, Noida, Hyderabad and Nagpur, offers the courses like BBA LLB and BA LLB. Then for LLAT, one of the most sought after private college and the most reputed is Jindal Global Law School, that is in Sonipat. Then we have BITS Law School, Bennett University in Noida. These are the colleges which intake students on the basis of LLAT. पहले LSAT हुआ करता था, LSAT is now scrapped in India, and now LNAT has replaced LSAT. Then we have MHCET law, which is basically more oriented towards the students who are from the state of Maharashtra, because 90% of the seats are reserved for the candidates of Maharashtra, for the domicile candidates. But then still we have 10% seats for the students outside Maharashtra. And through MHCT law, we aim colleges like GLC Mumbai or ILS Pune. There are various other colleges like Rizvi, BR Ambedkar and Ferguson's and all, but then the most sought after colleges are GLC Mumbai and ILS Pune. Then AIL LET, that is Army Institute of Law, which is in Mohali. Then through CUET, we can target those colleges like BHU, Banaras Hindu University and others. Maybe we can take up any other college which is in Delhi University. And then Jamia Millia Islamia University through JMI LEE, Law Entrance Exam. So these are the exams which we will be talking about, their pattern, what one needs to take up as their practicing material. So that is what we are going to look at in the coming slides. So the list of NLUs, when we talk about the top 5, of course, through Clat, we say is NLSIU Bangalore. Then we have Nalsar, Hyderabad. Then we have WNUJS, Kolkata. Then we have NLU Jodhpur. Then we have NLIU Bhopal and GNLU Gandhinagar. These are tier 1 and the top 6 national law universities which the students aims for. If a candidate is able to get a seat in any of these NLUs, that means that he or she is definitely secured with a good package after they complete their program. Then there are various other NLUs which are in Raipur, Mumbai, Patiala, Lucknow, Kochi, Odisha and Patna. These are tier 2 NLUs. The kind of programs they offer is either BA LLB. Some of the majority, in fact, all the NLUs will offer BA LLB as the course. Some of the NLUs, they offer courses on BCom LLB, BBA LLB and BSc LLB, right? So these are the number of seats and programs offered by the NLUs which are there on the screen. Then we have tier 3 NLUs which are Vishakhapatnam, Ranchi, Nagpur, Tiruchirappalli, Silvassa, Assam, Jabalpur, Aurangabad, Sonipat, Shimla, Prayagraj and Agartala. So these are the basically NLUs, the place where they belong to, which are tier 3, right? So they offer BA LLB. Some of them offer like BBA LLB. You can see some are offering BCom LLB. In the previous slide, you can see there was BSc LLB. NLU Bhopal used to offer BSc LLB until last year. Last year, it withdrew itself from BSc LLB. Now, this year, again, they have come up with cyber law and BSc LLB course. Okay? So these are the campus which you need to, fix up in your mind, dream of. So fix up this image in your mind. NLSIU Bangalore. Then we have Nalsar, Hyderabad. Then we have Delhi, and then we have Jodhpur. So what is the Clat paper pattern if we talk about? They will be judging the students on the basis of 5 sections, that is English, current affairs, logical reasoning, legal aptitude, and quantitative ability. So if we talk about legal and GK as a section, these two sections together comes up with 50% weightage, and the remaining 50% weightage is divided among English, logical, and quantitative. Now, when we talk about Clat as an exam, this exam is purely reading oriented. So all the questions will be there in the form of a passage followed by a few questions. So if you talk about English, it is reading comprehension. There will be 4 to 5 passages followed by 4 to 5 questions each. Then we have current affairs and general knowledge. Again, surprisingly, it is in the form of a passage followed by 4 to 5 questions on the basis of the theme of the passage. They can ask you questions related to the current year events. They can ask you the question which are related to these events but have historical significance. Then we have logical reasoning as one of the section, but then this section is purely dominated by critical reasoning. And critical reasoning is a section which will test you on your reading skills as well as your reasoning skills. Then we have legal aptitude. And one of the most common doubt which students have in their mind is, since we belong to class 11th and 12th, so is it actually fair enough that they ask us questions on legal? So that is why the section is named as legal aptitude and not legal knowledge. They don't ask you questions on the basis of legal knowledge, talking about various sections or articles or whatever, or cases, but they would be giving you a passage wherein in the form of principles, some of the definitions will be there. And then on the basis of those principles, some facts-based questions will be there, followed by those passages. So again, you have a passage followed by 4 to 5 questions, which are situation-based questions. You just need to go through the principle and then apply your reasoning. So basically, this is also legal reasoning section. And then quantitative ability, although we say that it is elementary level of mathematics, up to class 10th, whatever you have read in your 10th, that is what they ask you. But then the questions are in the form of caselets. So some information will be given you in the form of a caselet, and then it will be followed by 4 to 5 questions. Okay? So this is the paper pattern. 2 hours paper, offline paper. There is +1 for every correct answer and 1/4 negative for every wrong answer. Right? Then when we talk about ailet as an exam, there are 3 sections only. Good news for those students who do not have very much of interest or who dislike maths. There's no maths in ailet. Right? So English, you have 50 questions. General knowledge and current affairs, some of the questions will be based on static GK, some of the questions will be based on current affairs, that is 30 questions. And then you have logical reasoning, including legal. So here the weightage given to legal is less, right? It is almost 10 to 12 questions. Rest of the questions belong to logical reasoning, which again bifurcates into 2. One is analytical portion and the second is critical portion. Right? So 70 questions, you can expect somewhere close to 10 to 12 questions out of legal. That is pure principal facts based questions. Then you have questions based on analytical reasoning. Maybe you can somewhere expect close to 30 questions and the remaining questions from critical reasonings. Okay? So again, the duration of the exam is 2 hours. It has 150 questions overall. So 150 is the maximum marks, +1 for every correct answer and -0.25 for every negative answer, every wrong answer. Umar, do you have any doubt by any chance by now? I'll slow down a little, not an issue, but do you have any doubt? Just going through the examination pattern as of now. Okay. Now, you may take this screenshot, right? You may take this screenshot. That would be better for you rather than taking notes of it. So that is completely allowed. Now let's talk about SLAT as an exam. This is an online exam, okay, which is basically for 4 campuses of Symbiosis. Pune, of course, is the most sought after if you talk in terms of private colleges offering, 5 years LLB as a program. Then we followed by Noida, then we have Hyderabad, and then we have Nagpur. So SLAT basically tests you on the basis of SLAT basically tests you on the basis of 5 sections: logical reasoning, legal reasoning, analytical reasoning, reading comprehension, and general knowledge. So if you see this examination pattern, you won't find maths as the section here. So Arav just asked me a question. Sir, in SLAT, what is the maths weightage? If you look at the section, there is no section named as maths, but then they ask you questions of maths in this section, which is called as logical reasoning and analytical reasoning. So somewhere close to 6 to 8 questions can be expected in the logical reasoning itself. Is it okay? So that is a question they ask you, and the questions they ask you from maths is on the topics like time, speed, and distance, time and work, HCF, LCM. They can be questions based on ages. They can be questions based on basics of percentage, profit and loss, SICI. So these are the majority of the portion they usually cover in maths.
एलेट में मैथ्स होता है क्या?
एलिट में मैथ्स नहीं रहता. एलिट में मैथ्स आता था पहले. नाउ इट हैज बीन विथड्रॉन. फॉर द पास्ट 3 years there is no maths in एलिट. Okay.
जैसे 4 सब्जेक्ट ही आएंगे सिर्फ.
ALET में there are 3 subjects only. One is English, second is GK, and third is logical reasoning. But that logical reasoning will have questions on the basis of legal as well. That is 10 to 12 questions. The weightage is less. Rest of the questions belong to critical reasoning and analytical portion. So if any students prepare himself or herself for CLAT or ALET, they virtually prepare themselves for every other law entrance exams. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I'll do is, if you don't mind, what I'll do is, Abhi, let me discuss all the exam patterns. If you have any questions regarding this, you can just write it in the chat box or write me in the chat box. I would allow you to unmute yourself. Okay? So let's proceed now. All these questions will be taken up at the end of the webinar. Okay? Whatever questions you have just noted down, हम बाद में बात कर लेंगे. All right. And again, ALET NLU Delhi के लिए है. Although BITS Law School also accepts course of ALET. ठीक है? Now, when you talk about SLAT as an exam, there is no negative marking. One good news, there is no negative markings. You can attempt all the questions. 60 minutes of time, online paper. Usually a student is able to complete the entire paper in 50 to 55 minutes. English is reading comprehension again. When we talk about general knowledge, you have 12 questions on the basis of current affairs and static GK. Analytical portion is again those questions which are based on mental aptitude. So it may be related to mathematics. It may be related to some questions based on puzzles or other things. Then we talk about legal reasoning as a section, principal facts-based questions, and logical reasoning is again based on CR, wherein you can have questions of Silogs, that is logical deductions. There can be questions on the basis of critical reasoning like statements-based questions. So statement and assumption, statement conclusion, course of action can be asked to you. And apart from that, some basic questions of coding, decoding, direction sense, blood relations and all, right? Now, coming to the next one, which is LNAT. Now, this is an exam wherein a pattern deviates a little from other law entrance exams because here we have 42 questions and these 42 questions are divided in 12 passages, each followed by 3 to 4 questions. And to solve these 12 passages, you have 95 minutes of time with you. Okay? So these are MCQs. Questions can be based on reading comprehension, logical reasoning, and critical thinking. When I talk about logical reasoning questions here, it is not something that they will ask you questions on puzzles and all. The passages are there which you have to comprehend, and then the questions can be in the form of direct questions like, what can be derived from the passage. There can be questions on the basis of inference. There can be questions on the basis of assumptions underlying the author's argument, and there may be questions wherein they ask you to strengthen or weaken the argument. Okay? So these are questions which applies your logical reasoning, which forces you to think critically, evaluate the argument. Then there is another thing which is essay writing. You will be given 3 essays, out of which only 1 has to be written up, and time for writing the essay is 40 minutes. Okay? Though the essay portion is not scored numerically, but then it plays an important role in the final calls. Okay? So through LNAT, you actually eye for colleges like OP Jindal Law School, which is in Sonipat. It is a college wherein you have a great chance of building up networks because you have students from various backgrounds, top-notch lawyers, kids, and bureaucrats and judges sons and daughters, they take up admissions in those. So it is a great area to build upon your networking. At the same time, it gives you an opportunity to take a foreign exposure, international exposure, So exchange programs hote hain, through which you can get it. Bennett University also goes with the same idea, which is in Noida. Then, when we talk about the IPL offered by IIM Rohtak, so 3 subjects, quant, logical, and verbal ability, is the same, which even if the management entrance students are taking up for IIM Rohtak for the management program, the same paper will be given to you. But then, when as a law aspirant you are writing the exam of IIM Rohtak, so it is asking you legal reasoning as well. So 20 questions extra will be given separate time, that is 20 minutes to you for the legal reasoning section. Apart from that, other questions will be same, which are asked to in IPMAT Rohtak. So duration of the exam is 140 minutes. Of course, it is a paper-based exam, offline paper, wherein for every correct answer, you get 1 mark, and for every wrong answer, it is minus 0.25. Whatever exams I talked about a bit in terms of Clat and ailet, there is no further round. You just apply for the counseling process and you get the desired NLUs. But then when we talk about IPL, that is offered by IIM Rohtak, they give you, there are certain weightage as well. So this examination has 55% weightage. Then there will be an interview round, which has a weightage of 15%. Past academics, when we talk about 10th and 12th, 10% weightage to 10th and 20% weightage to 12th. So this is the exam wherein your 10th and 12th scores also matters. BITS Laws, a school which intake students on the basis of BITS LAT, that is BITS Law Admission Test. So here they have 4 sections, which is attention to detail. So there can be various kinds of figures, patterns. You need to identify the pattern behind them, visualize, and then mark the answers. Okay? And then there are questions based on reasoning ability, verbal ability, and domain ability related to current affairs and general knowledge. But for taking up admission in BITS Law School, it is not required that you actually write this exam, because it intakes students on the basis of your CLAT score as well, ailet, NLAT, MHCT, SLAT. So whatever exam you have taken up for law entrances, BITS Law School as of now intake students on the basis of these exams as well. So one can apply for this school with these exams also. Okay? Now, what is the opportunity? BITS Law School offers you various programs which are new age law career options, maybe in terms of entertainment law. Maybe we talk about alternative dispute resolution, we talk about taxation law and others. So BITS Law School, though it has a name and brand in the field of engineering, but then when we talk about this college as a law school, 2 years back it established itself and it has gained excellent academic feedback. So one can actually eye for this as well. Okay? Then when I talk about MHCT law, again, the areas are legal aptitude, general knowledge, logical reasoning, English, and basic mathematics. So when you talk about basic mathematics, we have one-liners. So 8 marks to maths and rest 32 to 24 questions. So GK and logical, they have 24 questions each. Sorry, English, and logical and legal, they have 32 questions each. Okay? A total of 2 hours exam. Okay? For every correct answer, you get 1 mark. There is no negative marking. So everybody actually attempts full paper. But then here we talk about colleges like GLC Mumbai and ILS Pune. If you are a candidate outside Maharashtra, so again, I repeat, only 10% seats are there for you. So to get admission in colleges like GLC Mumbai or ILS Pune, you need to have a very, very good rank in order to get a seat here. Okay? It is an online exam. This year, MHCT law ke liye, every student had to travel to Maharashtra itself, and there only they can give the exams, even if you belong to any other state. So next year, let's see what happens. When we talk about Army Institute of Law, if you have an army background, wards of army personnel, they have 75 seats reserved for them, 20 seats for Punjab residents, right? That is civil. And then only 5 seats are there for the All India category students. So again, no negative marking, 2 hours exam. Subjects they'll check you on is mental ability, that is maths and reasoning, general knowledge, law aptitude, and general English, right? So basically, ये उनके लिए favorable है who have a background of army. QLE, that is Christ Law School, offering its program for BBA, LLB, and BLLB, of course. You have sections of English, reasoning, general knowledge, current affairs, and data analysis and interpretation. So a total of 120 questions divided into various sections, as you can see on the screen. 90 minutes of time, online mode exam hai. But then the eligible pool of students will again be called for another round, which is called as micro presentation and interview and skill assessment. Okay. So obviously one, if prepares for any other exams, I already told you, if you are preparing yourself for, let's say, Clat and ailet, you have eventually prepared yourself for every other exams because the syllabus is almost the same everywhere. NLAT for Narsi Monji. So we have again 5 sections: verbal reasoning, general knowledge, quantitative reasoning, logical, and legal. 30 questions in each section, but the time given to you is 120 minutes. Again, there is no negative marking, but for every correct answer, you get 1 mark. Syllabus is almost the same everywhere. Okay? So this is what is being offered by Jamia Millia Islamia, that is JMI LEE, which we say Law Entrance Exam, which is in Delhi. So again, you have a total of 150 questions divided into sections like English, current affairs, legal, general studies, and elementary mathematics. One thing, if you might have noticed, is that any exam which takes maths as one of the sections, the weightage is very, very low. In fact, that is 10% only. And otherwise, they have no maths at all. Okay? But then all other sections, if we talk about English, we talk about legal, we talk about GK, or we talk about logical reasoning, it is almost common to every exam. Okay? It is an offline based paper, and the center of exams are selected cities. So they will actually come up with a list of cities wherein the students can go and write the exam. So these are the various exams which the students eye at to get admissions into various prestigious colleges offering 5 years LLB, BLLB program. Okay? Now, when we talk about career opportunities in law, career opportunities in law, you have various. Maybe 10 years or 12 years back, if someone would have asked, ki, sir, kya opportunity hai law as a career mein? Everybody would have talked about only 2 things. Either you become a lawyer or you become a judge. And when you talk about a judge, it is obviously, it is through judiciary. So now things have changed. When you talk about litigation, so litigation, obviously, one can go for criminal cases, one can go for corporate cases, one can go for civil cases, whatever. Then we have corporate law. NLS Bangalore is one of the most sought after college when we find, eye at to land up in the corporate arena. In today's scenario, almost every MNCs or every firm, they are mandated with a legal advisor, and that opens the doors and the opportunities for the law aspirants who eye themselves in the corporate world. When there are various law firms, top-notch law firms like SAM, that is Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas. We have then Cyrus Amarchand Mangaldas. We have Khaitan and Khaitan. We have Larsen and Turbo. Then we have we have Tri-Legal and various other law firms, which in fact, these law firms intake students from the NLUs. And the average placement they get is somewhere close to 14 to 16 lakhs, maybe 18 lakhs from this top NLUs. Then one can always go for public services if you want to bring a change in the society through various, public policy forms and all. So you can always go for civil services or you can go for judiciary. Ab judiciary में एक change आ गया है. One could eye at judiciary right after they complete their BA/LLB course. But now it has been mandated by the Supreme Court of India that one has to gain an experience of 3 years, and after practicing for 3 years only, one can fight the judiciary exam. So right after BA/LLB, no, judiciary is not possible now because it is required that you have a 3 years experience as well. Now, there are various other aspects, various other opportunities. You may land up as a tax consultant. You may land up in the field of research and academia. You may land up in media and law. You can join any NGO. You may go into the field of technology and law. We can go into sports law. We can go into alternative dispute resolution. अब स्पोर्ट्स लॉ का मतलब क्या कोई लॉ है अलग से? नहीं. स्पोर्ट्स लॉ का मतलब हुआ कि you are being hired as a legal advisor, maybe for any brand ambassador. Maybe we talk about any IPL franchisee team, maybe the Spurs, companies which are sponsoring those sports leagues and as well. So wahan par it is required. When we talk about alternative dispute resolution, that means I'm talking about something which is an opportunity as an arbitrator. So conciliator, maybe you can say. So when we talk about alternative dispute resolution, to be very frank, to me, it is one of the most booming option in today's scenario, because every household has some kind of disputes related to family law, maybe related to properties and all. So this is the case wherein you go out of court settlement, and that is called as alternative dispute resolutions. Okay, so like sports law, anything which is related to cyber, artificial intelligence and all, that is technology and law. Maybe NGOs को आप join कर सकते हो as a legal advisor. Again, media and law again comes up with entertainment law and other things. Then we talk about research and academia, move into the field of research, do some kind of analytics, and you can move into this field. So various career opportunities in the field of law lies ahead for the students. Now, why 5 years integrated law can be chosen as a career? So number one, early professional entry. Right after 12th, you think of taking a professional degree of law, which used to be possible only after your graduation. But now, after 12th only, you secure yourself in one of the prestigious colleges, that is national or universities. For science students, we talk about IITs. For medical students, we talk about AIMS, AIIM. And when we talk about management students, we talk about IIM. So when we talk about law aspirants, we talk about national universities, and that is where early professional entry is being talked about. Then obviously it is an extended skill building period, because something which was covered in 3 years, or when we talk about as a graduation program, now 5 years holistic program coming up with various mootings and all, moot court sessions, various fest and all, cultural fest and others activities which are taking place in the colleges. So that is something which comes up with other skill building period as well. Get access to NLUs, of course, yes. Superior placement rates as compared to other colleges. Yeah, when you do your, let's say, 3 years LLB after your graduation, or you do the 5 years integrated program. So placement rate for 5 years integrated program is much better, because a fresher can also take up a package somewhere close to 15 lakhs. Alumni network is great, because these are the colleges wherein students across the corners of the countries come up to one place, meet from various backgrounds, and therefore the network goes strong. When we talk about this thing, early judicial services eligibility, earlier it used to happen, but now very recently the Supreme Court of India came up with the verdict that 3 years of experience is required now. So early judicial services, हाँ, 1 साल का फायदा है आपको, at least benefit of 1 year. It is a pathway to global LLM programs as well, wherein when you go for colleges like OP Jindal, Bennett universities and others. So this is something which gives you an exposure to various international exchange programs, and which makes you eligible for various master's program through UK and others places. Then you have versatile career options, which I have already talked about in my previous slide. And then, of course, it comes up with multiple internship cycles, because third year onwards only, when you land up at various NLUs, you have the opportunity to go for internships and do it with various top law firms of India. I have various questions, so I'll come up with this, okay, at the end. Why Clat or ailet can be taken up as an exam? Because it is a gateway to premier law schools. So through Clat, it is not only restricted only to the national law universities, but then I talked about various private universities which are offering, admissions on the basis of Clat, and those were BITS Law School. We talk about Nirma University, which is in Ahmedabad. We talk about, in fact, Narsi Monji also takes students on the basis of Clat score also. Then there are bits, colleges like Bennett University and UPES, GD Goenka. So these are colleges which one can eye at through Clat. And through ailet, you have again NLU Delhi itself. And apart from that, other colleges like BITS Law School also accept scores on the basis of ailet. Now, why Clat or ailet? Because irrespective of the stream, this is an exam which is purely based on aptitude. And when I talk about an exam which is based on aptitude, I talk about maths, reasoning, and English majorly, which will test you on your aptitude, on your presence of mind. But apart from that, there are some questions based on GK and legal. Current affairs is something which every law aspirant or every responsible citizen of India must be updated of. So that is why they ask you questions on the basis of current affairs, and it is something which is expected from everyone that they go through the newspapers and keep themselves updated. But then when we talk about other sections, of course, aptitude is something which will test you on areas like reasoning, maths, and English. So whatever stream you are from, it hardly matters. This is something which is not related to the stream of 11th and 12th. So again, no legal background required. Of course, when you are from 11th and 12th, you might have a question that should we opt for legal studies in my 11th and 12th. No, it is not required, because at the end of the day, it is an aptitude based testing. At the end of the day, what NLUs and other colleges feel is that law will be taught to you. अब आप पढ़ोगे law वहां जा करके, so legal background की requirement आपको नहीं है. And it is not that someone who is having a background, family background of legal, वही apply करे. No, anybody can apply. Obviously, Clat and ailet के through you get the access to NLUs. National Law Universities में जाने का कोई और तरीका नहीं है. There is no other way wherein one can apply to National Law Universities of India. It is only through Clat, through which 25 NLUs participate. And in fact, I told you earlier, India International University of Legal Education and Research, which is in Goa, became a part of Clat consortium last year only. Okay? And then we have NLU Delhi through ailet. There is one more NLU, NLU Meghalaya. It conducts its own process. It is not a part of the Clat consortium as of yet. Okay? Then I told you student from any stream can write the exam, but one of the most important aspect and benefit, advantage, if we talk about the students get when they prepare themselves for exams like Clat or ailet, is something that they have ample time for their boards preparation as well. Because Clat, ailet are the exam which is usually conducted in the month of December. So if you are in 12th and you are preparing for Clat or ailet as an exam, so in the first 2 weeks of December itself, you get free from these exams. Okay? In fact, Symbiosis has also started conducting its exam in the month of December only. Post that, all other exams will be after your boards exams. But then one gets an idea, one gets a clarity whether I'll be eligible enough to get a seat in the NLUs or not, what kind of ranks, scores I am getting through exams like Clat and ailet, मेरे कितने chances है वहां पहुंचने के. If not by any chance, at least I can prepare myself for other exams like CUET, or can give a try in other exams like management entrance exams, which are usually conducted in the month of May. So after your boards get over, you have another chance to go for other exams if, God forbid, by any chance not able to crack Clat or ailet. But then one good thing, 3 months of time after Clat ailet, you have your ample time for your boards preparation as well. So if one is regular to schools and is preparing for Clat and ailet simultaneously, to be very frank, it is very easy to manage between your boards preparation and Clat ailet. I have various examples. In fact, if I talk about Bhumi, who is with us today, she scored 97.8% in her 12th and then All India rank of 101 in Clat, making her a way through NLS Bangalore. So this is an example and inspiration for you people, right? Now, I'll take few more minutes on only life at NLUs. When we talk about the top 6 NLUs, including NLU Delhi through ailet and the other 5, which is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Jodhpur, and Gandhinagar. So when you talk about the academic experience, NLS Bangalore comes up with superior faculties, diverse electives, and it is purely based on research-oriented curriculum. The residential life, a little challenging because accommodation is a little challenge. Triple sharing room milta hai aapko, and there are very limited single room option. But then when you are a candidate who is high with aspirations, I believe this is something which can be compromised, because when you have a tag of NLS Bangalore, all other things doesn't matter. When we talk about co-corrects, it is limited by tight academic schedule, because NLS Bangalore is something which is having a very, very tight schedule in terms of academics. So therefore, one usually doesn't get a chance to promote himself or herself more into the cultural fest or other things. Campus infrastructure, it is little small as compared to other NLUs, but then you have basic amenities for sports and food and gym. Placements, yes, top tier firms like Sam, Cam, Ketan and Company. You have Trilegal. An average package goes from 16 to 18 lakhs per annum. This is the average package. So top package, if you talk about, it may be close to 40 lakhs as well. Okay. Now, Nalsar, Hyderabad, excellent teaching and research culture, strong electives. You have specialized centers for IPR and space law and all as well. IPR is intellectual property rights. You have better hostel facilities as compared to NLS Bangalore. And senior gets single rooms from third year onwards. So first and second year students, forget about single rooms. But yes, third year onwards, you have that opportunity. Co-curriculum, it has a vibrant culture, multiple fest, strong committee structure. There is one sports fest which is very, very famous with the name of Virudhka. And the cultural celebrations in Nalsar, Hyderabad is amazing. Larger campus, dedicated zones for sports, and you have very ample space for gym and library. Tier 1 firms like, all tier 1 firms, which I say Sam, Cam, Khaitan and all, both hai, Trilegal hai. Then you have banks as well, that is ICICI and SDFC, corporate councils, public policy internships. One gets a chance through Nalsar Hyderabad. Again, the average package would be 14 to 16 lakhs per annum. So when we say about the average packages for all the top six, talk about Delhi, Jodhpur, Kolkata, Hyderabad, or Bangalore. It will range somewhere close to 14 to 15 lakhs. Gandhinagar, 8 to 10 lakhs. But then Gandhinagar is rising. Abhi, isse pehle, I would not have talked about Gandhinagar in the top 5 maybe. But then it is rising year on year, and then it is making its place in the top 5 NLUs, maybe for the past 1 to 2 years, you can say. So one can opt for Gandhinagar or Bhopal at the 5th place. This thing will be counseled once you start preparing for Clat or ailet, and that counseling will be done to you, which colleges to be opted for. This is not the right time to talk about these colleges, but then what I have shared you on the screen is the kind of academic experience one can have in various NLUs, along with its residential life, the kind of activities done as co-currics, campus infrastructure, and the placement opportunities with various legal firms, right? So these are the things which I wanted to share with you. Ample, देखो, residential life is very, very good, believe me. There is nothing कि बहुत ज़्यादा constraint है. Yes, some of the NLUs will have space constraint, but then when you talk about top-notch IIMs also, वहाँ पे भी space constraint होता है. But then you can have a very balanced life when we talk about academics and then other amenities like sports and gym, or maybe we talk about various networking because of the strong alumni base and other things. So बहुत अच्छे chances है that you have a bright future when you join any of the NLUs, right? When you join any of the NLUs to pursue your career in the field of law. Now, before we proceed, let's ask some questions through the guest, that is Bhumi Sharma, Shreya, and Nishant. I would ask everyone to please unmute yourself and turn off your video now. All three. Yeah. Hi Nishant, you joined late, but welcome on board. So the first question I would like to put up to Nishant, because he took a drop for 1 year, but then he made his way through NLU Delhi through ailet, securing all India rank of 22. So first question to Nishant, is it worth taking a drop? What do you say? NLU, Nishant, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello guys, hello. There was some technical glitch. Okay. So taking a drop is absolutely worth it for me because I had always dreamt of NLU Delhi as my college, as a place where I have to spend 5 years of my life learning life skills and of course the interest of my life, which is law. So yeah, drop was totally worth it, and simultaneously I have more time to explore myself. Otherwise I wouldn't had that time to explore, but now 6 months they are very chill and relaxing. I'm having fun in my life, so props to it.
Okay. Shreya, can I have few words from you?
Yes, sir. So I think if you're planning to take a drop, there are some things you need to consider. Firstly, you can take a drop if you feel like the first attempt you gave to Clat, you didn't prepare as much, you didn't give your 100%, or if you feel like the rank that you currently have is not what you expected from yourself. But then you have to make sure that uh, you're devoting enough time and enough efforts into the exam, and you're ready to commit a full year to the preparation. Again, NLUs, as you said, offer long term benefits. So if you are investing a year to this in a drop, it's absolutely worthwhile, but then you have to use it wisely.
Okay. Let's come to Bhumi. She's a student who made her way to NLS Bangalore, securing All India rank 101. At the same time, she was able to score 97.8%, if I'm not wrong, in her 12th, right? So, very first question, which every aspirant of law who start their preparation for CLAT or elite, maybe in 11th or 12th itself, the very first question which is there in their mind, how to balance, how to manage your time between boards preparation and CLAT and elite, how to maintain that balance. So let's have it from Bhumi.
Thank you, sir. So I would be out with it. It is a bit difficult to manage both the things because you must understand that there are complex topics, there are complex subjects. There are some kids who must be in commerce, some of them may be in science. Luckily, I was in humanities, so a lot of my syllabus, I could say, it merged with the CLAT topics. If I talk about pol science, history, so we had common topics. But if I talk about how to manage both of them, I would say you have to prioritize. There are times when you have to prioritize your boards, and there are times when you have to prioritize CLAT. So for the first 6 months, it was usually like this: if there was a mock coming or if there was some sort of class test, I would prepare for CLAT first, and then I would devote comparatively lesser time to boards. But say my first pre-board was coming, or the first term exams, which usually happen in June, if I'm not wrong, May actually. So I devoted more time to that as compared to CLAT. But the key is whatever you are prioritizing, you have to understand key the other topic. For example, अगर आप CLAT को prioritize कर रहे हो, you cannot leave boards all alone. You cannot just leave it at what it is. थोड़ा थोड़ा दोनों में you could always have some topics कि if today I'm preparing maths for CLAT, I would take one subject of school. If I'm preparing one subject of school, I would take few topics of CLAT. And since, as I already mentioned, CLAT is it has a very large section which is just reading. So the topics which you actually have to focus a lot on is GK and QT. So that I always prepared simultaneously. So if you do it like that, I don't think you would have a lot of problem. And as your CLAT comes closer, for example, the months of September, October, November, there you can give almost all of your time, 90% of your time to CLAT, and uske baad you have quite enough time to prepare for boards. So I don't think that would be a big issue.
Okay. So there was one question. How much time did the toppers actually spend every day in preparing for CLAT or elite? So I have three toppers with me today. Let's have it one by one from all of you. So let's start with Nishant again. How much time did you spend every day?
Honestly, the time spent every day on my preparation really dependent on it was it depended on various factors. Firstly, my mental capacity to get through that day was the first factor. Secondly, I had many targets in my mind that was to be completed regarding my CLAT preparation, so that also affected. But if I talk about in a general or average sense, it was around 3 to 4 hours apart from my classes. So that would get you through if you are having full focus and you know you are preparing nicely with your exam.
Okay. Shreya?
Yes, so my I had a schedule of a proper 4 to 6 hours. That was including the 2 hour classes that I had. So so this schedule would then include every subject every day taken up. That means at least 2 to 2.5 hours of just GK, and then there is I would take up passages and sets of every subject, 4 to 5 passages of every subject. So that gives around 30 to 40 minutes to each section. So that was my schedule.
Okay, so what you mean to say is that even if someone is able to take out 4 hours in a day apart from the classes they take, maybe let's say. So 2 hours of class, maybe with extra 3 to 4 hours of learning from their side, personal commitment. So one can manage to get through. Great. Bhumi?
Okay, I had my school firstly. After that, I had to go to classes. But if I talk after that, I would say 2 to 3 hours, because in that most of the time it went to GK, and after that, whatever time was left, I would devote it to one particular section. I won't try to cover all the sections in one day, but it would be GK and legal one day, GK and English the other day, GK and maths one day. So that it total up to 2 to 3 hours, not more than that.
Okay. So there is another question. What books you preferred and which books did you solve for dedicated subjects rather than material provided by the class? So let's have a word with Nishant first.
Honestly, I didn't refer to any book apart from Clat prep books because you have to understand that if you are preparing for an exam like Clat, you have to be well versed with your preparation you are preparing. You don't have to mug up everything you are presented with, but you have to, soak in the most which you are studying. So I think Clat preps material was enough for me, and even if I tried to do something else, it was not very fruitful for myself because I was very mentally exhausted. Plus, it was enough for my preparation to it go smoothly. That's why I honestly didn't, you know, refer to any other material apart from Clat prep.
Okay. Thanks. Shreya?
Right, so I pretty much stuck to Clat Prep study material as well. That was all the manuals that you have, including section wise जो books मिलती हैं. So I stuck with that. Also, GK के लिए of course the online YouTube page videos you have, I that was well enough to prepare for Clat. Also, the more you go with different sources, the more difficult it gets for you to soak everything in. So I would suggest that you stick to whatever study material the coaching provides.
Okay. Thank you, Shreya. What about Bhumi? Did you refer to any other books or anything else?
I think my answer would be more or less the same. Since we had a lot of information covered in the Clat Prep materials itself, the worksheets, the handouts, the classes, and the online support, I don't think we had time, or even if we tried to refer to something else, it wasn't too much of as he said, fruitful for us, because there was nothing that was extra. Everything that was necessary and important, it was already covered. So covering anything else, it was not much of use, not to me at least.
Okay, great. So here we have three students, one of the most, the top rankers who rely upon the materials of Clat Prep. So everybody might have got the answer for this. Now, another question is there from someone. Did you give another coaching mock simultaneously for an overview? Anyone? Yes, maybe we can start with Nishant. Did you give
Yeah,
up
so
any other coaching institutes mocks for an overview?
okay, so for an overview, yes, I tried to give other mocks, doing the section, treating them as sectionals. But then at the end of the day, it was too much for me to soak in, too much for me to handle. So eventually, I gave up on that. That was my story. But for an overview, I obviously I looked at some other materials.
Okay. Let's have other questions as well. So, Shreya, what they are asking is ki, what is the best way to recall GK information? How to retain them? How difficult was the general knowledge section?
Okay, so I'll be very honest. For me, GK was my weakest section because again I couldn't recall and retain information itna अच्छे से. So what I would suggest is revision is very important. You have to revise consistently. You cannot every week you have to go through whatever you studied this week and the previous. So there is no other way than revision. Another thing that worked for me was whenever I studied something, GK or whatever, I used to talk about it with someone else, be it my sister, be it my teachers, be it my mentors. So that helped me retain GK key information. So, yes.
Okay, great. So next question to Bhumi. The question is, my weaker section is quant. How to conquer them? So before she starts, I'll come up with a statement which I say to all my students is that you were not born afraid of maths. You eventually developed it. You're not born afraid of maths. So conquering quant is equally easy as you do for other sections, but then let's have it from the topper. Yes, Bhumi.
So, okay, actually, I had maths as a subject for my boards. So that fear wala aspect, it wasn't there a lot because I was solving it for school. So basic calculation, type of math that happened every day. So the fear wala factor is in there. But at the same time, I saw my friends and they had that fear. Ki quant, so we don't attempt only. Without it, we score good marks. But the thing is, you have to understand that quant is important. Almost every section is, and 12 marks, 12 to 10 marks, it is a very big prospect of the exam itself. So how to conquer it? I would say ki since the number of topics they're limited, 8 to 10 topics for maths. So what you could do is you could take one topic for 1 week. It won't take you more time than that. So every day if you solve 2 to 3 questions, 4 to 5 questions, it would be very helpful. And since the pattern of the questions that is also not very difficult, not something like CAT or something, CAT, IP, MAT, they have a big, I would say, bit higher level. CLAT is quite moderate with its math. So if you try to solve 2 to 3 questions every day, that would help you in a long term. And once you start solving questions, you would actually realize it is not that difficult. It is not something that you should fear. It is something that will actually help you get a very good set of marks.
Sure. Great. Thank you. So if I take up this question, I'll tell you, look, you just need to devote at least 30 to 45 minutes every day regularly to come out of that phobia of maths, first of all. Believe in yourself. I believe that if you believe in yourself, you will build up that confidence eventually and you will be able to, solve the questions of mathematics. Because at the end of the day, these are topics, very basic topics like percentage, profit and loss, ratio, average, which you did in your class up to class 10th. And in fact, the level of questions is not that high. They just ask you to apply the fundamentals of those topics wherein the questions can be solved easily. So maths is not something which is difficult. But yes, maths is a game changer because if you aspire to be in the top 5 NLUs, maths is required, quant is required, and you'll have to practice quant. But believe me, if you practice quant at least 30 to 45 minutes a day also, you are through with it. Don't worry. Right? Then average number of aspirants in Clat, somewhere close to 60 to 65,000 students every year write the Clat UG exam. So whatever figures you have in, which you come across, maybe people say that there are 1 lakh aspirants for Clat, that is including UG and PG. Please mind that. So when you talk about the Clat UG program, there will be somewhere close to 60 to 65,000 every year. Okay? The pattern of section you guys followed in Clat. If I talk about this particular question, this is subjective because it depends on the forte of the students, wherein a student might be very, very strong in the legal section. So they might start from legal. Then one might start from English because they have a good command over the language. One might start from critical reasoning, or someone may start from GK or maths as well. Now the point is, when you talk about CLAT as an exam, there are 3 sections. When I talk about that, is legal, English, and logical. These are 3 sections which are reading oriented, wherein one need to go through various passages of various themes and then go through the questions. So it is advisable that whatever pattern you follow, don't keep these 3 sections together. You may take a break in between by keeping one of the sections like quant, which is practical, or GK, which gives you a break through exhaustive reading, so that you get a break from the other 2 sections and then you can go for else. So one may start with legal, followed by English, then move to maths if someone is strong in maths, maybe with then logical and GK. Someone might keep GK in the 3rd section or quant in the 5th one. Some may start with English and logical first, then move to maths or GK, then legal. So these are the cases. But I would suggest you don't keep any section which is reading oriented at the end, because let's say if you are left with 2 to 3 minutes at the end and you are left with one passage, तो वो passage आप solve नहीं कर पाओगे, because you need to go through the passage, you need to go through the questions and then solve it. So don't keep any reading oriented, that is English, logical, or legal at the end. In the first 4 sections, first two should be reading. 1/3 section may be GK or quant, any of them. 4th again, the last reading section, and 5th again, GK or quant. But still, I'll have it from Shreya and Nishant. Please, Nishant.
Okay, so I am an total anomaly to it because my strategy as sir said, it's very personal. You have to explore your options, and even I suggest everyone who is listening that you should explore your options up to 5 mocks. You should experiment with everything. What worked for me was that I did all the three reading sections together at the start, because I thought that I had that endurance to endure that exhaustive reading. So I prepared for that, and that's why I did that. Because as sir said, it's very difficult to deal with reading passages at the end, because you have to comprehend it, you have to understand the argument and then answer. On the other hand, GK and maths, they are objective, so you can attempt them at the end, because it's either white or black. There is no gray area. So I did the two sections at last, but again, it's very personal, and I suggest that you should explore your options. Even with 10 mocks, you should experiment, because that's what life is for.
Great. Yes, Shreya?
Right, so I agree with Sir and Nishant both. So you have to experiment yourself, and you have to make sure whatever is efficient for you is what you follow. For me, what worked the most was my strength was English. So I always kept it at the last, because I knew even if there were 10 to 15 minutes left, I could do it. I would easily be able to attempt English anyway. Legal and logical, what I feel, is something you need a fresh mind for. You cannot be exhausted with reading and then go to those sections, because then it gets difficult. So I used to start with legal, and then I used to move to logical. Now for me, I kept maths and GK both as fillers. For example, if I'm doing legal, I did 3 passages, then I would move to a set of maths, which then again, maths was my weak subject, so it took me a lot of time for that. So I used to decrease time in other sections. Reading speed was strong, so then I could attempt legal 30 minutes where I could do logical and English both in 15 minutes. So that worked out for me, keeping GK and maths as fillers, and then attempting baki ka legal, logical, and then English.
Okay. Bhumi?
Okay, so for me, it was usually I would start with English, then I would go to GK, then legal. After that, CR, and then maths. Because as the pattern goes, you first go with a reading section, and then something to get a small break in middle, and then once again a reading, and then similar.
Okay. All right. So there's a question that how many months did you all prepare in total? So again, it is, look, if someone is in 11th or 12th, they have the responsibilities to go to school and take coaching for various subjects. So if someone starts the preparation in 11th, they get an edge over other students, because it is a 2 years preparation at the end of the day if you start early. So the earlier you start, the better it is for you. To be very frank, when you come to 12th, you have that pressure of boards as well with you. So maybe starting in 12th along with streams like commerce and science can be a little difficult. But then if you go to school regularly, then after that, managing time for your CLAT preparation and ailet preparation, taking out 4 hours a day apart from coaching you take for them. So 12th में start करना थोड़ा सा difficult हो सकता है. Based on my experience, I would say that I have not seen many aspirants who started their preparation in 12th, maybe in the month of July or August. If you start early, maybe in the month of March or April, you are able to take out time for 3 to 4 hours. Yes, it can be done. When you start early in 11th, of course, you have ample time and you can, finish up the syllabus. Maybe 70% of the syllabus can be covered in 11th itself. And then in 12th, majorly, whatever current affairs are taking place or any other Supreme Court judgments or legal amendments are taking place, you can cover that in 12th as well, and revising whatever has been covered in 11th. For a dropper, of course, entire focus can be on CLAT. So that is something, if someone starts in the month of March or April also for a dropper, yes, it is ample time. So there was a question that if someone starts now, do they have ample time? So I can start this question with Nishant and Shreya, because they started probably nearly the same situation. Let's have it from Nishant first.
Okay, so I started my preparation in July last year. So I was already quite late. But then I had my mentors to motivate me. I had the motivation of NLU Delhi, and that was my dream college always. I never wanted to go to NLS. So yeah, I started in July, and it's not very difficult because at the end of the day, the paper is based on comprehension. If you have that comprehension skill, you would ace it. So you have to develop that comprehension skill, which was very difficult at the start, but gradually it got going. So I had to put in that hard work. I had to put hours to it, but then eventually it was doable in 5 to 6 months because of my consistent efforts and the hard work and the resilience I showed. But it could be very exhausting and very fatiguing if you are starting very late, because you always have that peer pressure or that FOMO that you are missing out something, or people are scoring better than you, but you are not scoring that well. Because in the start, nobody scores better, but nobody scores well, because it's completely different from what we study at school. So it's preferable that you start preparing a year or 10 months ago, but then it's pretty much doable in 6 months if you are dedicated to it, if you are ready to devote your time for your dream college. So it is pretty doable. It was pretty doable for me.
Shreya?
So yes, 6 months is well enough time to prepare for Clat. I was in the same situation. I started in July, but then you need the right strategy, you need dedication, and you should be willing to go all in for your preparation. You have to make sure that you're giving enough time to each section. You're focusing on especially reading comprehension and then revision, because three things, these will be the backbone of your preparation. And you have to be very consistent with current affairs. Backlogs are something that will create a problem for you, so you cannot have backlogs. You need to give at least 2 hours to GK every day. But yes, with consistency, with time management, and again mock analysis, very important for preparation. Three things, you can definitely crack Lat in 6 months.
Right. Thank you. So yes, if we talk about any student who, may start their preparation for CLAT now. So it is just the end of May, June will start. So you have ample time for you to prepare for CLAT, because it is an exam at the end of the day, which doesn't require you to focus more on subject knowledge. It is just aptitude, mental aptitude. So if you make yourself aware with the current affairs and you actually give your full focus, you are fully focused towards CLAT exam. So even devoting 6 hours, but productive. When I talk about 6 hours, that means that very efficiently you have utilized that 6 hours for your CLAT preparation. If you are not productive enough, if you do not actually provide effectively your 6 hours, even 1 year may seem less. So it is obviously, if you are productive enough, you complete, touch up all sections every day. Maybe give 2 hours to GK, one to 1.5 hours for legal. Maybe you practice 4 to 5 passages for RC, CR every day, and maybe practicing 45 minutes of maths. It is more than enough for CLAT preparation. It is not that tough, because at the end of the day, whatever mocks you are writing and doing the right analysis in the right way, that is something which will help you. Right? Now, another question to Bhumi. How did you manage to cover paragraphs as they are pretty long?
So I believe that depends from person to person. There are people who have a very good reading aptitude. They read a lot of books, they read a lot of newspapers. So for them to cover passages, it is much easier. But say you are very new to the aspect of reading, for them it could be a bit tricky. So I have read a few good share of 4 books, I would say. I have read enough books. So for me, when I first entered the arena of CLAT, it was very easy for me to cover reading passages. Because I was already fond of reading, so covering passages it wasn't that difficult. But say if you are new to it, I would suggest that reading newspapers would also help you to cover that time. You would be able to read. You would be able to I would say increase your vocabulary and increase your time spent on each passage. So once you are able to develop an aptitude for reading, covering passages it would become much easier.
Okay, great. What were the exams that you mentioned one can give in the month of April, May, basically after boards? So after boards, there are various opportunities. When we talk about law entrance exams, MHCET law usually happens in the first week of May, usually in the first or second week of May. But this year it happened in the end of April, right? Then we talk about Christ, that is QLE. Again, it happens in the month of April and May. We may talk about any other exams. NLAT has its phases from September to January, December and Jan to March. Then you have other exams like NLAT for Nursing Monji. Again, it opens up its windows in the month of April, March. So various exams for law entrances, yes, it can be opted for maybe after March, after boards. When we talk about other exams like CUET, which opens the door for various graduation programs, or Delhi University, of course, that happens in the month of May. Then you have exams like other management entrance exams like IPMAT Indore, Rohtak, or maybe you talk about various other BB entrance exams that again they are usually conducted in the month of May. So there are opportunities with you, okay? So these are the colleges exams which usually happens after you can say April or in the month of May, after boards, right? Yes. When we talk about Nursi Monji or Christ, they have various campuses. When we talk about Christ, you have a campus in Bangalore, you have a campus in NCR, you have a campus in Pune, Lavasa campus, which we say. So they offer courses like BBA LLB and BA LLB, which is again for 5 years. BB LLB, of course, because Christ is more oriented towards management courses. So it is very, very famous for its BBA program and in fact, MBA also. So you have two campuses of Christ in Bangalore. One is the central campus and one is Benagata Road. And then you have Pune Lavasa campus and the NCR region. So all of them offer the law courses in the name of BA LLB and BB LLB. So QLE is the exam, CULEE is the exam wherein one can get an entry to Christ. What right strategy to crack Clat in reality? The right strategy, number one, believe in yourself. Number two, obviously, you'll have to go through each and every section and take every section as equally important. No section can be taken lightly if you talk about maths as a section because of its low weightage. If you think that acha weightage comes, so we can skip maths for the timing or we'll do it at the end. No, it is not possible. The right strategy again, if you talk about GK as a section, do not keep it pending. You start any time of the year, maybe in the month of March, maybe in the month of June or July. Don't keep yourself pending for any. Don't keep any backlogs for GK. Be prepared with GK holistically. Maybe we talk about, the current affairs going on, you relate the current events with the historical significance questions. When you talk about legal as a section, reading is very, very important. Newspaper is one important aspect of CLAT exam because if you talk about newspaper, it doesn't serve you only on GK, but the questions the passages which are taken up in the CLAT exam for reading oriented sections like RC and CR, the passages are from the articles or the editorials, right? So it is not possible for us to go through the newspapers, all kinds of newspapers or online blogs, and maybe we talk about the Swaddle, Down to Earth, Nature Journal. So it is not possible for us to go through all this. But even if you stick to one newspaper, but then that newspaper has to be covered holistically in terms of current affairs, what is to be covered from Clat's perspective and the editorials, that is more than enough. Develop a reading habit. Reading skills is one area which every student has to work on like anything. Because at the end of the day, managing those 120 questions in the given time frame of 2 hours, unless you speed up your reading, it is not possible for you to go through each and every passage very, very easily. So it is not that you just have to skim through the passage. You need to comprehend the passage very well because sometimes the questions are deeply rooted in the in-depth meaning of the lines of the passage. So one should be very, very clear with the main idea of the passage and then only they will be able to answer effectively. So yes, work on your reading skills. If you do it, if you develop it, and if you have a good command, a decent demand over mathematical questions as well, believe me, one can crack that easily. It is nothing beyond that, right? Most renowned institute in Bangalore is, of course, NLSIU Bangalore, which is the topmost college through CLAT, है ना? So इसके अलावा और कुछ target भी मत कीजिए, please. What is a good score in CLAT to get a rank 500? देखो, if you talk about NLS Bangalore, the top 105 ranks in the general category usually makes it to NLUs Bangalore easily. Then if we talk about Nalsar Hyderabad, up to 140, 160, 170 ranks may land up in Hyderabad. Then you just keep on adding plus 50, plus 60, then move on. So third wala Kolkata ho jayega, fourth Jodhpur, then moving on to Gandhinagar and all. So every year it depends on the, kind of movement which usually happens in the first or second counseling round. Yes, but to land up in the top 5 NLUs, of course, you need to have a score somewhere close to 90, 95. Okay? You will be in the safe zone if you are scoring more than 95. Top 5 NLUs is definitely there. But then, having said that, don't take it for granted because it eventually depends on the level of paper on that D day, right? Every year, the cutoff is different. Every year, the cutoff for every NLU is different, in fact. So don't take it for granted. But yes, years of experience truly say us that yes, if you score more than 95, you are in a safe zone. I am 0 in maths, put 1 before that 0 and make yourself capable to make it 10, right? Because if at the end of the day, 12 is the number of questions in maths and you practice a little hard, then it is possible to come up with the score of 10 in maths. Believe me, maths is not tough because the level of questions is elementary. So only practicing few chapters like percentage, ratio average, maybe we talk about interest or we talk about set theory and all, you can actually score good in maths. Okay? So whenever you say I am 0 in maths, just think that you have to put a 1 before 0. So you are 10 on 10. You are 10 in maths. Ideal score to get an NLU, I already said that, Shubham. I believe that 95 plus score will be very, very good and a safe score to land up in any of the good NLUs. Yes. So believe me, guys, if you start your Clat preparation and you start with, let's say, Clat prep, because we say that Clat prep hai to mumkin hai. So we don't say this, we mean it. Actually, all the mentors in Clat prep are equally focused. You talk about irrespective of every section, every mentor take keen interest in helping the students, solving their doubts, and doing the analysis of the mocks with the students and try their level best so that every student whatever NLU they are desiring for, they'll end up eventually, right? Reading daily newspaper is good to know current affairs. Yes, reading daily newspaper should be a habit now. It is something which should be followed like a religion. Reading newspaper not only helps you to get equipped with current affairs or get updated with current affairs, it also helps you to get through with various legal amendments taking place in the country. Also helps you to improve your reading skills. And I already said you that the passages which are taken up in the Clat paper are from the articles of the newspaper itself. Current affairs, kahan se kahan tak aata hai, which year to which year? So current affairs, as the name itself suggests, current year se aata hai. So whatever important events have taken place in this year, that questions will be asked in the form of current affairs. But then, yes, any event which has its historical significance as well. Let's say, for example, I talk about the India-Pakistan issue which was going on abhi. So there was various things which was suspended as a part of diplomatic relations like Indus Water Treaty and all. So what was Indus Treaty all about? Kab sign hua tha? It can be asked. If you talk about the Pahalgam attack, if you talk about Operation Sindoor, usse pehle kaun sa operation hua tha? Usse pehle kab attack hua tha? How many issues have already taken place? So you will have to get yourself aware with every aspect of the event if it is related to history, right? Times of India is good. Yes, if someone is not used to newspaper and they have just started reading, I would recommend, yes, you can start with Times of India, but 2 months down the line, you should switch to either the Hindu or the Indian Express, because majority of the times we have seen that एक तो passages are taken up from those newspapers only. In fact, the Telegraph is also there. But yes, it is not possible for us to go through every newspaper. But yes, stick to the newspaper like the Hindu and the Indian Express, because the level of language which they use, it enhances your vocabulary, it enhances your reading skills as well, because it is not that you get a article which is very, very comfortable to read. They have good language. So I would suggest you go for the Hindu or the Indian Express. Every line in the newspaper doesn't make sense. There are classes wherein they help you how to read the newspaper. So in Clat Prep, we obviously keep a class by the GK expert to how to read newspaper, what important news are to be taken up, and how to take out the main ideas from that news. So that will be taken up in the classes itself. So guys, believe me, if you start your preparation for Clat, and if you join the program, any of the program, let's say if you are in 11th or 12th, for 11th, we have almost 1.5 year program now. So that is called as foundation batch. For the 12th students who are in 12th appearing, they have a batch called target batch. And then someone who is planning to take a drop for the CLAT preparation or ailet preparation, we have a batch called achievers. So every course has a particular structure which we follow, but we definitely make it a point, and it is very important, obviously, that we cover up every aspect of the exam in the given time frame. So even if you start now, believe me, you will be fully prepared for CLAT, because the course structure is designed in a way wherein not only the coverage of the structure will take place, but a revision module will also be there. If we talk about Kochi, it is good. Maybe we rank up, we put it up in the 13th or 14th NLU in terms of ranks. So it is a good one. One can go for it. But then in terms of placement, of course, for the first top 5-6 NLUs, the average placement is somewhere close to 15. The more you move down to the ladder, the placement opportunities gets a little less. But in terms of placements, yes, decent placement hai. So top 15 NLUs, you can think of getting a placement of somewhere close to 8 to 10 lakhs. But then it totally depends what kind of firms visit the NLU, and how do you perform in that interview round, how do you take up your internships, and what domain knowledge you gain in the 5 years. That is something which will create an impact in the interview round. And it is not only that average placement decide, but yes, there are cream crowd as well in the college, wherein one can get a placement of, you never know, 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs as well. Opportunities are high. Law firms are there who look for NLU grads. So opportunities are high, don't worry. Symbiosis Pune is again one of the sought after college in terms of private college. The environment there is very good. The moot court sessions which they conduct is very, very famous. In fact, Symbiosis Pune is something which participates in almost every cultural and academic events of various NLUs. Symbiosis Pune के students वहाँ आते हैं. They are a participant there. So environment over there is, yes, good. You get a holistic development, build up a great persona, and at the end of the day, you come up with great domain knowledge. Yes, placement opportunities are very high. ILS, yes, of course, it is very, very good to aim at, because if we talk about ILS Pune, it is one of the oldest institution of law in India. So placement opportunities are very high. Return on investment is very high because the fee structure is very low and return is very, very high. In every week, I am demotivated after every 2 days during CLAT preparation. So देखो, मैंने यही बोला है कि when you prepare for CLAT, you have to believe in yourself, right? Until unless you feel that thing, देखो, you don't decide yourself or judge yourself on the basis of a score you come up with 1 or 2 marks. So when you give your marks, when you do the analysis, it is the right time to take our learnings from it. Learn from your mistakes, है ना? अभी तो you can go with various permutation and combination through shuffling between the sections. Maybe you start up with legal, then move on to English, and then other, or maybe you start with critical. So it is the right time to take every permutation. Learn from your mistakes, identify the area of weakness, work on it, right? Rather than getting demotivated with your scores of preparation, motivate yourself to prepare further, right? Then only you can excel in your life. MSCT law, yes, perfusions is open. Yes, vocabulary to some extent will always help you to, solve the comprehension questions. Because look, unless you are very, very comfortable with the words, you may not get the exact idea what the line is trying to say. But I would say that you are not totally dependent on the vocabulary, because when you have that when you go through the passages and you have that idea in your mind, you can get through the idea. So जरूरी नहीं है कि हर एक word का meaning आपको पता हो. But even if you are close to the idea, the meaning of the word, you are through, because vocab के direct questions नहीं आते हैं कि what is the antonym or synonym of this particular word in clat. नहीं, बहुत जल्दी से नहीं, एक या दो question मुश्किल से. बाकी it is purely dependent on your comprehension. But yet it is a good idea to develop your vocab as well. हाँ हाँ, क्यों नहीं मिलेगा, सच में मिलेगा. ये जो मैंने आपको लास्ट में स्क्रीन दिखाया था इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्लेसमेंट्स, सो actually these are the things which are taken up after the various research, after talking to the students there. Clat has a great alumni network in the top 5 NLUs. So if any student is eyeing at Clat and make it up through any of the NLU, will get you connected to those students and you can actually ask them yourself. Yes, it has a great placement opportunities. Symbiosis placement is equally good. BB/LLB program especially has a great demand for symbiosis. So symbiosis का भी placement rate अच्छा है. Yes, at the end of that, look, whatever college you talk about, if it is also possible that you come out of Bangalore but you're not able to get placed because you yourself is not equipped with the knowledge of legal, है ना? So if you are focused enough, you are in the above average crowd, whatever college you are through, आप किसी से भी निकलो, you can have fair chances of getting placement with good law firms. At the end of the day, it is your caliber, it is your skill set, it is your knowledge which will place you in the top firms or any other corporate firms, right? Opportunities हर जगह है. Every college will invite various law firms and top law firms or any other corporate, maybe houses and all. But then at the end of the day, it is your skill set and knowledge which will at the end of the day help you to get placed. Do your internships well, learn during your internships. There are students who are getting PPOs during their internships only. Campus are good enough. Christ and Symbiosis have large campuses and well equipped with various other facilities. Infrastructure is good. College environment is also good. Symbiosis, especially when we talk about Pune and Noida, are decent enough to go for law as a program. Hyderabad and Nagpur, I would say, I'm a little reserved about them, so would not recommend. But yes, Pune definitely can be taken up. Yes, of course. Is there any changes of syllabus in ailet from Clat? Yes, Clat and ailet has different sections altogether. There are 5 sections in Clat while ailet has only 3 sections. शुरू में ही आपको बताया था, है ना? So different है, लेकिन syllabus same. Syllabus is almost same. Is it possible to try for ailet, slat, Clat and NLAT? Yes, of course. Once you prepare yourself for Clat and ailet, you are prepared for slat and NLAT. Look, there is not much of a difference between the preparation of Clat and ailet also, right? At the end of the day, last year, Clat has come up with a question, a set on sitting arrangement. So every institute, coaching institute and the students, they do focus on analytical reasoning portion as well for Clat. So of course, when you talk about this exam now, ailet is taken into consideration for the preparation along with Clat. But then when you prepare yourself for these 2 exams, बाकी सारे exams के लिए आप prepared हो. Because Clat is the gateway to NLUs. So CET, you cannot make your way through national or university, Muzammil, right? NLS Bangalore, to be very frank, is more oriented towards corporate exposure and the academic is very, very rigorous. So foreign exposure, I won't say. Jindal ka foreign exposure is way better than any other NLUs, right? Shubham, ideal score for Delhi NLU, 95 to 100. I won't say that. I won't say that. Because earlier we used to say that, yes, for if you are eyeing at NLU Delhi, 105 ka score is a fair enough score or 100 plus score is a fair enough score. Last year, the cutoff for NLU Delhi was 117.5. So this is something which was beyond imagination. So at the end of the day, it depends on the level of paper. The easier the level, the higher the cutoff. So I won't say that 95 to 100 is a safe score for NLU Delhi. It depends on the level of paper, right? In some NLU, yes, you have some sports quota as well, NRI sponsored seats as well. Then you have, vacancy के through भी आपके बहुत सारे seats निकलते हैं, but not every NLU. Some NLU, yes, there are sports quota as well, but not many seats. ठीक है? Any other question? So I guess we are done. So again, I would ask Nishant, Shreya, and Bhumi to turn up on your camera and once, if you are there. So we have our toppers on screen again. So if anyone has any questions, is Clat Prep help in interviews and presentation as well? Yes, Clat Prep will help you in interviews and presentation, but only for those colleges which have these rounds, right? So for Clat, you do not need any kind of interview. For ailet, you do not need any kind of interview. But when you talk about SLAT as an exam, yes, interview micro presentations are there. And obviously, once you get a call from them, we prepare you for interview as well. If you want to come up with public policies, maybe you want to bring a change in the society, obviously LLB will be a very good option for civil service aspirant as well.
सर लॉ के साथ एग्रीकल्चर कोई कोर्स कर सकते हैं क्या?
लॉ के साथ एग्रीकल्चर थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है because I don't know what things you come up with agriculture as a combination of law as a career, but law is something जो कहीं पे भी काम आ सकता है in any field, ठीक है? So even if someone is from transportation field, logistics field, उनके लिए भी law कहीं ना कहीं काम आता ही है. So depend करता है कि how you take up in the field of agriculture. Deadline for enrollment of CLAT examination. The notifications for the CLAT examination would be released nearly in the month of August. So once the notifications are there, you can go with the registration for CLAT. अभी शुरू नहीं हुआ है उसके लिए. Deadline तो बहुत दूर की बात है, अभी start ही नहीं हुआ है registration process. So I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the toppers, Nishant, Bhumi, and Shreya, who gave their precious time to us, answering the questions of the students. I know that the students would be able to connect with you people very well, as you yourselves, gave the examination this year and landed up in your dream NLUs. Thank you so much for being on board with us. So, any last minute strategy or words you would like to say, you're most welcome for this. Please, Nishant.
So, uh, just I have so much gratitude for everything that God has presented me in the past year. And of course, I am very thankful to Clat Prep as well because they helped me to get through this grind. Their coaching, the atmosphere is very good. There is no toxic competition. The teachers and mentors are very supportive. They are always available to, they were always available to solve my doubts and, motivate me at times when I felt low. And the material is top notch, the quality is unmatched everywhere I have seen. And lastly, something which uh, clicked me after was that the online support I got actually helped me a lot to crack my paper because it was available at all times 24/7 for with me with a very superior quality. So that's very good. And I would like to give all the credit of my success to Clat Prep in this particular examination. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nishant. Shreya.
Yes, so firstly, thank you so much for inviting us to this webinar and for guiding us through our CLAD preparation. And see, I just want to say to everyone present here, I know preparation can be overwhelming. I know how it feels to be where you are right now, but just remember that you can do it. You're well enough capable to crack that, and I hope it goes well for all of you. And I hope that this session helped you. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreya. Yeah, scholarships are available in the form of, you can say, Aditya Birla scholarships and all. So only the few toppers, they are invited for this scholarship program. So I would, if Nishant is there, I hope he has not left. Nishant, are you there? So look, Nishant
Yes, sir.
has got a scholarship, I guess, in NLU Delhi, right?
No, I
Sir,
haven't got it yet, but I am eligible for Aditya Birla scholarship. There is a criteria, and I am eligible for it. But I will have a shot when I go to the university.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's what you are eligible to get a Aditya Birla scholarship. Yes, NLUs do provide an opportunity for scholarships as well.
सर थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम था, तो वो क्वेश्चन पूछा था मैंने, लॉ के साथ कोई एग्रीकल्चरल कोई कर सकते हैं क्या कोर्स वगैरह? तो
नहीं, लॉ के साथ अभी अगर अपन क्लैट की बात करें तो यू आर गोइंग फॉर 5 years प्रोग्राम, ठीक है। सो 5 years प्रोग्राम विल बी इन द फील्ड ऑफ BA LLB, BB LLB और BCom LLB. So if you are pursuing a graduation in the field of agriculture, let's say after your graduation gets over, उसके बाद आप 3 साल का LLB कर सकते हैं। लेकिन ये डिपेंड करता है कि आप क्या सोच के चल रहे हैं, हाउ वुड LLB एग्रीकल्चर में हेल्प करेगा आपके, वो आपको देखना है ना। लॉ इज एन इंडिपेंडेंट कोर्स, तो कोई भी कर सकता है, इट इज अ प्रोफेशनल डिग्री, तो कोई भी कर सकता है इसको। सो I would thank all of you to join us for the webinar, wherein it was great interacting with you people, taking up questions and solving your queries and all. Thank you so much, everyone, to join us for the webinar. I hope the webinar was, fruitful, and we were able to help you with all your queries, and you got some kind of insights and knowledge about CLAT and its exam and the opportunities in the field of law. So with this, I'll just sign off. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.